pulling in these insane amounts of results and rap plays that we know him for.
All right, you know what? Let's take a look at which map we're going to be playing on in this series. 7 maps in total, 6 out, 1 to go, and it's Oregon, is it now?
Again.
All right, very interesting. Now, very quickly, our game is ready. So, Hap, how do you see this going?
I think Secret will take it. They are a really strategical heavy team, or at least I like their attacks, I like their setups. VP a bit in the slump. They should be able to take it.
Flip?
Well, we've also got to mention the importance of this. VP take this, then they will leapfrog Secret and find themselves in 4th on the big overall board. If they don't, they might fall even further adrift. So, VP don't take it, they got a lot to worry about.
Yeah, that is the most important thing now. This game, the top 4 position, can hinge on just this one matchup. Difficult game for both of these teams. Let's see how it goes. Our casters are ready. So, Fluke, Hap, why don't we just toss it over to Gio and Dev? Please, all yours.
Thank you so much, Milosh. Oh, I thought that was you then, Dev. In the back of our ear, we can hear some meowing, but that's not us.
I would never meow at you, Gia.
Appreciate that. Obviously, today has gone a little bit different to what we expected, but now we're here. We're ready for what has now turned out to be our first game, and it's against these two teams, both of whom have quite a vested interest in the holistic consequences of this game.
Goodness, I love the vocab, Gio. You're really getting me ready for Secret versus Virtus.Pro. An important game here, of course. As you mentioned, this can have a big impact on how these guys progress throughout not only Stage 2, but the finals. And that's the big talking point at the moment. We have standings for Stage 2, which will qualify you for the November Major, top 4. And then you have the actual end-of-year finals for Europe and, of course, the relegations. Virtus.Pro and Secret both in pretty good positions. And now we're here on Oregon, a map that Secret has just lost 2 EUL matches in a row to Na'Vi and BDS. And Virtus.Pro have also lost their previous 2 matches to Chaos and G2. They're in a bit of a rut at the moment, desperately trying to get out of it, but Oren is some fresh ground for them. They played it in the Russian Major League a lot, but it's not been a recent map for them in EUL, not since Playday 3 in Stage 2, where they managed to defeat Empire.
This is what I find particularly interesting about this game, actually, is the fact that whoever loses this game, this will be their 3rd loss in a row. And both of these teams sitting so high in the scoreboard right now are not teams that you would expect to have some kind of track record like that. And I think their ability to obviously play here on Oregon is clearly going to be huge in that. But when you look at the fact that Secret particularly have lost Oregon to BDS and Na'Vi, both of their 2 most recent games, does that make you concerned?
Yeah, there is that. Of course, another thing that adds to that is the fact that this Monty Clash ban has come out from Virtus.Pro. Now, it's the same thing that Na'Vi banned against Secret. Secret quite good with both of those operators, particularly that Clash. So, yes, statistically, Secret definitely has to prove that they've improved in the last few weeks, because last week, Oregon, we went there twice. They only run 9 rounds. They lost 14 close games, but yeah, not so great at the end of it. Now, they turn out and ban the Goyo here against Virtus.Pro, an operator that Virtus.Pro infamously love, but it does leave that Wamai on the cards, which is Secret's usual ban, and in fact also Virtus.Pro's usual defensive ban on this map. So while, Gio, we are going back to same old Oregon, we're looking at a reasonably different operator ban phase that might enable a lot more hard hold protecting of that utility. We'll notice that the Wamai has been taken here by Secret in the first round in tandem with that Jaeger, so those 2 shields likely to stay up. But on top of all of that, Mirror slip through as well, so there's so many strong anchor positions here that Secret can use.
It's exactly what I was going to mention, actually, the Wamai being the most notable, just because of how much these 2 teams do like to ban it on this map. And you mentioned it. It really allows you and facilitates strong anchor play, particularly on this site when you're looking at protecting, most notably, the elbow area that you're looking at right here, and also over in pillar. If you can prevent the projectiles from coming in, clearing out utilities such as shields or even the players who are down there, that's a huge chunk of time that's been wasted at the very least off of the attackers.
Yeah, and another thing that has slipped through that ban phase that is going to be super impactful in this match will be that Maverick. We see Pasha flipping onto that operator at the moment, and that means that Secret are going to not play the Kaid. Typically, the Maverick being banned along with Thatcher would mean that you can protect the meeting hatch using a Kaid Claw, and there's effectively no way for the attackers to open that if you have that. But in this case, Secret will bypass that. Their Soul Wall Denial will be that mute, and that'll primarily be used to protect the mirror windows, which will be really critical. And it's funny to see Virtus.Pro actually bringing 3 hard breaches here, so they've got a lot of ability to not only open these hatches, but even potentially have a stab at opening up some of the mirror windows should they be able to remove those mute jammers and potentially someone's site. But look at that, it's a pretty heavy pick here going the way of Secret.
Yeah, I was going to comment on Packball's really aggressive positioning, but it wasn't even him who got the first kill, as Rask has been taken straight off the board. And what's really notable is the fact that when these two teams played together last time, it was Rask who showed up so much on the side of Virtus.Pro. There's your laundry hatch that's been taken straight out, and you can see how close all these members of Secret are positioned together in the center of the site.
Losing Rask on the Ashe is not only some teeth in terms of your entry, but also a lot of utility gone. Ashe these days is actually a utility powerhouse. She has 3 stun grenades and 2 breaching rounds. Those stun grenades are super useful for burning through Wamai's magnets and Jaeger's ADSs. The breaching rounds, of course, for dispatching with those shields. Milan uses his 2 concussive blasts to burn through those magnets, still has the 2 explosives in the pocket. A smoke grenade may enable him to go forward, and they somehow destroyed that mute jammer. Now they're going to breach underneath the mirror window, and Virtus.Pro start to push in and take control of Freezer.
Exploiting their opportunity, which they had to do rather tactically because of the placement of the mirror. They know, of course, that the shield is still over by the rotate, and that's why he's potentially getting the lifeline ready just to dispatch with that utility. It's actually still standing. They know that there's a player playing behind it as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really difficult here for Virtus.Pro. I don't know if Pasha has a nade left, but that's the only chance, surely, that Virtus.Pro could destroy that shield. There you go, no nades left in the pocket, and 2 Selmas, but that's unlikely to work. It looks like the execute might come through early, though.
It's pretty difficult. They've got to go quite aggressive here, but Packball's going to be the one getting the opening kill in the engagement. WTG straight down. He does get traded out as Shockwave secures a kill for himself, but what's this? That was very aggressive there, and Secret just look like they're going to clean up. A very definitive round, kicking off the game from Team Secret.
That goes to show sometimes if you don't have the best situation to execute, you just got to execute anyway. Virtus.Pro did their darndest. They used that smoke grenade to try and deny the main angle from closet. I didn't manage to catch whether there was a mirror there, but there were just so many positions that Secret could be in to basically flood any of the players that tried to push in from Virtus.Pro, in particular WTG, the Hibana with the diffuser, was trying to get into an aggressive position to get that diffuser down, and there were just Secret players everywhere. Of course, the nail in the coffin was Shate, who managed to flank through Freezer and take down that presence. A very difficult one for Virtus.Pro, but I wouldn't be too concerned for them yet. We are talking Oregon here. We are talking Wamai being still on the table, and Mira, for that matter. I think that this is going to be a very difficult attacking half for them. If they can get 3, that's definitely a victory. If they can get 2, that's still acceptable in my books.
It was absolutely a testament to the fact that if you do focus on the south side of that site, where you really want to be taking control of Laundry and Freezer together, if you're going to forego pillars, you do run the risk of the defenders being able to maintain so much control of the site that it makes it very hard to push in, and especially when there is a mirror window placed looking into Freezer and you have to use your utility, I'm thinking the smokes alone, to obscure the vision of the defenders to even so much as move in. Suddenly you find yourself in a very difficult position, particularly if you struggle to bring down utility like the shields that we saw in the rotate. But that will be a problem for Virtus.Pro to worry about next time they end up having to attack their site, as Team Secret are going all the way upstairs now.
At the end of that previous round, we noticed how Virtus.Pro ran out of explosives to deal with those shields, and we've actually seen Virtus.Pro change their operator lineup somewhat, WTG jumping on the sledge instead of that Hibana. And of course, the extra 2 nades there does increase the capability here for Virtus.Pro to use those explosives, but they do lose some flashbangs and some hard breach in the process, and my concern here is potentially an impact trick, mainly from Hypha on the Malusi, might make it difficult for Virtus.Pro to breach. But what is that? An early pick once again, but this time it goes the way of Virtus.Pro.
That was very nice from Milan to take advantage on the big window. Typically, you see the Zofia placed there a bit later on in the round to apply pressure to those who are inside dorms. But being able to secure your opening kill from that position is a hugely beneficial place to be.
Yeah, and I was just going to touch on that hard breach. I was talking about potentially just the ace alone for the closet wall into games might not be enough, but the advantage that Secret has here is now with smoke dead, that late round area denial is off the cards. Prano keen for this flank. He hears the Maverick Torch, but he's worried about a player on flank watch, and I think he actually might be able to get this kill. I don't think there's a Claymore there. He's playing it so timidly, but the drone spots him out and he backs off. Maybe if he had sprinted up, he might have been able to get that, but now he has to make sure he can have a pathway safe back to site, and I'm not sure if he's going to be aware of anyone from Virtus.Pro holding this flank at the moment. There isn't. They're just ignoring him. And that might be the right choice here. It's basically a 5v3 on site.
It's the difficult position to be, but if he does come up the armory stairs, he has to be aware of the attacker in armory. And there's the closet walls going to begin to be open, but the impact trick from Hive does stop the Selma in its tracks. And so a second must be put on, but doesn't even make it to the first explosion. And now the final one has to be used.
Shate's going to try and use a C4 to destroy it too, but it gets destroyed by the explosion of the first Selma, I think? Wow, okay, that's unfortunate. WTG spots out Hype in this aggressive position. He wants to try and make a play off of it, but he falls back. And Virtus.Pro have a really great position now. The nade comes through. Hype wants to find this peak. He needs to equalize the man count, and he does. 30 seconds left. Secret back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they're going aggressive now as they know these players are going to begin to push in, and we still have to worry about Prano and where he might be. Pasha's trying to take control of Attic. He cooks a grenade to throw it in, but is it going to catch anything or anyone? It sounds like it got caught in a magnet, in fact, so that's definitely a waste for him. He's going to nearly get wallbanged. He just takes the shots in, but Hive will be the next one to land a kill, plus Prano as well. Just Pasha's remaining. He has barely any health, and it looks like it's all too much for him. Team Secret looking incredibly strong so far in this game.
A strong mid-round can make up for an early deficit. I was concerned there. We always talk in Rainbow Six about how losing your smoke early on, losing that late round plant denial, the area denial, can be so critical. But Secret made up for it in the mid-round. Keep in mind, that was a 3 versus 5 for Secret on site, while Prano was trying to rotate back after his failed flank on the rear stairs. And I've really got to put it partially down to Hive there, despite his impact trick and the C4 from Shate not being successful at denying the ace charge from detonating on the wall. Hive played really smart, aggressive off of it. Sometimes you just got to take those 50-50 fights. He did it. He managed to punish one player from Virtus.Pro. Elsewhere, there was a kill for Dre. Sorry, it was Shatter, I think. And that was the time where the tide really turned for Secret and Virtus.Pro. Well, it slipped out of their grasp when it was definitely a winnable round.
Hive was also pretty effective with the impact tricking that he was doing in Games Room, managing to force the ace to have to use all the way up to his final Selma to even get it open. And the fact that Team Secret have decided to bring 4 impacts this time, that should allow them to take so much more control of showers. The thing we have to be aware of, in my opinion, is recently, and I'm thinking in the last week, we've seen a lot of teams be able to exploit what's happening upstairs. Take the upstairs control without the defenders necessarily realizing or being ready for it, and that has led to a win for the attackers. So I think that's something that Team Secret need to be very vigilant about, and judging by how they've been playing so far, it shouldn't be too much of an issue if they can make the aggression work for them. It's just another thing in the back of their mind.
Yeah, so just that you've highlighted the 2 most important things or points of contention on this bomb site. Firstly, there is this showers wall, which Pasha is looking at the moment. That needs to stay intact for the player in showers, or players in showers for Secret, to stay alive. Typically, you'll see Hard Breach come out into this wall, and the 2 players from Secret will try and throw an impact onto the ground to destroy that Hard Breach. Now, keep in mind that WTG is sticking the smoke, so rather the sledge, not the Hibana, so Virtus.Pro are going to rely just on those 3 ace charges. Actually, Pasha's going to use the Maverick. This is something we do not see very often whatsoever. In fact, I think this is the first time I've personally seen it. And this can't be impact trick. Now, of course, Pasha himself is quite vulnerable, but it seems like they don't quite know what to do about it. He does miss a spot, though, and that'll make it super dangerous for him. And the impact takes him down so low on HP. Can this adaptation from Secret spell death for Pasha?
You can't impact trick a blowtorch, but you can impact trick a person and potentially get yourself a kill there. And because, as you mentioned, he missed a bit, it's too dangerous for him to really move forward. And there's the Selma that's going to be finishing up the job, or at least attempting to finish up the job. Prano ready and waiting.
There's one more impact somewhere. Surely, nope, okay, Secret did not have another impact. Let me have a look. Packbull and Prano were both out of impacts, but only 3 of them went out. Oh no, 2 of them went out to kill him while he was Maverick tricking. So Virtus.Pro, good adaptation. Once they saw both of those impacts had been wasted, they knew that they just could win on the numbers, basically, from the impact. Now WTG can open up the main wall into dining, and that's basically the first half of this attack done. Now you mentioned the top floor. That could be another really pivotal point here. Typically the defenders will maintain control of Kid Storms into the late round. The player on the hatch there can go prone and deny the plant in the late rounds. So this will come down to how effective the execute from Virtus.Pro can be.
Now, currently all of Virtus.Pro are together, and WTG will open things up with a kill onto Prano. That should allow them to take the shower's control now that he's been dispatched with, and Pasha can just hold on to the security door down the corridor. But there's only 30 seconds remaining, and Virtus.Pro don't have a lot of time to work with, and they still know that the control upstairs has not been taken.
They'll try to execute using the smokes, but will it work? There's a Maestro on the table and a Warden. Draven with a gas out, and Hype actually peeks through the smoke. The Warden coming in clutch from above the hatch. That is perfect, exactly what he needed. 4 versus 3 for the defense. Even if this diffuser goes down, it could be a post-plant victory for them. But now, suddenly things have turned around. Rask and Pasha bring the guns to life, and they have a 3 versus 2 with the diffuser down.
The advantage in the favor of Virtus.Pro, but Draven's in a great position to punish. Pasha was there and ready for Hive, though. That now leaves Draven in a very tricky position where if he wants to move forward, he doesn't have much of a choice. He'll have to try and get the diffuser, but Pasha knew where he was. He held the angle, and Virtus.Pro finally start to bring things around.
Wow, some late round clutch moments there for Virtus.Pro. Yes, you could say that they won the early to mid round in some ways. With that showers control, they got the opening pick. Nice use of the Maverick firstly, which I'd never seen, to breach the showers wall. And when that failed, but they knew they'd wasted enough impacts, they just fell back on the ace. They did the basic maths in their head. They thought, okay, they probably got 2 operators with impacts. That's 4 total. They've just wasted 2 on our Maverick, so we've got 3 ace charges. Even if they impact the first 2, the third one will go through. That's indeed what happened. Then they got the kill onto the player in showers. But still coming into that execute 3 versus 4 after Secret found some kills of their own. I was really concerned there for Virtus.Pro. There was still control above, and it was those 2 pivotal kills from Rask and Pasha to put it into that 2 versus 4, into that 3 versus 2 that really turned it around for VP. And, well, it's nice to win a round here, get one on the attack here for Oregon, but of course that was the tertiary site. They will have to pick it up, even if Secret win the next 2 and we go back to that 3rd site. I don't think that's a definite win for VP, so they need to start turning up the heat here for these primary and secondary bomb sites.
One thing that you mentioned in the last couple of rounds, of course, is the fact that WTG, instead of bringing Hibana like he did on the first round, has stuck to Sledge. What's going to be really pivotal in this round, I think, is that unlike that last round where we just saw VP win, Team Secret are once again bringing Wamai. We've seen a couple of times in this game already those really crucial nades be eaten up by Wamai magnets. That wasn't a problem that Virtus.Pro had to worry about in that last round, but now it's going to be. You've got the extra frag grenades because you've chosen to bring the Sledge once again. You can't let that utility go to waste now. You have to ensure that you're clearing out as you should be, because otherwise you're going to end up in another problem where you've still got shield standing, still this utility that is hampering your push, and making it basically impossible for you to take the round.
The Virtus.Pro already changing their attack strategy here, going for a blue take. The Secret have also changed some things. We had Prano on the roam. He got off the smoke, which he played on the previous defense of this bomb site, and he's on the Malusi. Now, that is more util that the attackers have to soak up, but the Sledge will mean that there's 2 more nades than there was previously, so they should be able to dispatch with that. Keep in mind, though, that Prano also has impact grenades, so he could impact the top of Attic to Big Tower in the late round and go for a flank. And so we're going to need to see Virtus.Pro be really vigilant with their drones. And they've already taken control here of meeting, so opening up the hatch is really just step 1, clearing out electrical and then clearing out Draven, who's playing in Boiler. That pivotal position that we've seen time and time again make the difference, but Prano goes down early. That's the Roamer. That's your X-Factor gone.
And Pasha doing his job on the flank watch in this round, but Shate is ready for anyone who may come down the tower stairs. He has a shield protecting him as well. knowing that the flank is gone, that's certainly another pressure that's gone from Virtus.Pro's shoulders. This is very aggressive positioning from Draven, who's looking like he just wants to push up towards the construction door, knowing full well that Rusk is out here peeking.
1:12 on the clock, and Draven, his position's still safe here in Boiler, actually. They haven't breached his wall as of yet. Chate also still in control of Pillar. Draven's actually going to peel back. They're both going to peel back. They're going to say, okay, we've wasted enough time here, guys. Let's push on back. This is dangerous. They are in the disadvantage in terms of numbers. Still lots of time here for VP, and I think lots of util still. They've cleared out that Pillar's position. They've droned it. They know it, and now Elbow is well forfeited, but the mirror window is still there to enable pressure and potentially even a late flank. Decent positions now for both teams. This could definitely swing either way.
This is where we'll see if the change in approach does work out for Virtus.Pro, who really forewent the north side of this site last time they pushed. But they have under 30 seconds remaining, and they're still yet to make it onto the site, as 4 members of Secret are still standing. There's a great C4 from Hype, who moves into Elbow, another one from Packball, and then you've got the self-nade from Pasha onto Rust. That's a team kill they didn't need. Virtus.Pro now find themselves in a very difficult position. That rotate's still open, and they could get flanked. Shate, he gets a kill. Hype finishes things up. Team Secret just clean up with Virtus.Pro, who struggled so much.
What a comeback for Secret from losing your Roma with more than half the round remaining, being in a 4 versus 5, polishing off the round to a 4 versus 0. And I was questioning the decision-making in that mid to late round from the Secret players to forfeit Boiler, to forfeit Pillar. But that was the perfect decision, very clearly. Virtus.Pro took that control, and Secret bit back 2 C4s over the top, took down 2 players from Electrical. Really fantastic stuff, and that swung the man advantage back on their side. An unfortunate grenade kill from Pasha, and I'm going to have to go watch the replay of that, but I'm pretty sure what happened is Pasha was one of the players who got C4'd. Therefore, his nade was just lying on the ground, and that polished off one of his teammates. I'm going to double check that, and I'll get back to you in a minute. But wow, a round that really swung back in reverse. So Secret are going to be very happy with that.
It's also huge the fact that Hive had such freedom to use the elbow rotate to his advantage. They didn't do a late reinforce off, and you could still see the mirror flitting between supply and elbow to get round and flank behind the members of Virtus.Pro, who'd all bunched up towards Pillar. There was no one watching that, and that allowed him to, I mean, he got the last kill of the round. It allowed him to take advantage of that situation, which was already looking dire after the 2 C4s and the nade. Here's a replay for you, so you can see what is going on here.
He actually
there's the
opened
first
the
C4
nade right there.
Wow. C4 number 2, and then
runs
you've
into
got
his
the nade that came in, and it was just, at that point, you feel like all hope is lost.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Really, there's no other word for it. He primes the nade the second the C4 hits him. That nade is just sitting down in Electrical. The second C4 actually killed the player through the wall in Boiler, through that soft part of the wall. You know, crazy shot. And then Rask just sprints into Electrical, not realizing there's a live nade on the floor. That's very unfortunate. But nonetheless, Virtus.Pro, they still got a shot here. Yes, 1-3 down looks pretty dire, but keep in mind, I think this is definitely a defensive-sided operator ban phrase with Wamai and Mira through the veto. And Virtus.Pro actually did a lot of things right the previous time they defended this bomb site. They opened up the main wall. The impact trick wasn't successful in denying Closet. Also, we had the Maverick take control of Attic pretty early. Prano's flank was nullified. We even saw the opening kill swing the way of Virtus.Pro. That was Packball, the smoke, if you recall, killed from Big Window really early on the round. So, still a lot of work to be done for Virtus.Pro. I won't count them out as of yet, but Secret do look pretty good right now.
Pasha starting things off on the attic wall. There's a magnet right there. We've seen how those have caught out the members of Virtus.Pro in the past, with Draven waiting just at the end in lower attic. He's got a shield as well. One thing you actually just mentioned that I just wanted to come back to was there's actually 3 magnets in there. That's an oof. One thing you mentioned that I wanted to come back to was how you said it's very defender-sided operator ban because the Wamai and Mirror have slipped through. Part of me wonders that if in banning out Clash, Virtus.Pro were hoping that Secret would ban Wamai because they always have.
That's a good point, actually. I was watching a great video Okay, impact shoot not successful. I was watching a great video from the Na'Vi Rainbow Six YouTube channel today. Zoronic was chatting to two of their guys about their game against Secret on this map. And Doki said, now, we decided to ban the Monty in the Clash because we know they're going to ban Thatcher and Wamai, and we don't mind playing with Thatcher and Wamai ban. That's what we want. And so Secret have definitely subverted the expectation here. And I think that is definitely potentially having an impact here on VP. Maybe they weren't expecting that Wamai ban. And of course, it also means when they flip onto their defense, they're going to do it without the Goyo, which is Pasha's mainstay on this map. So I'm a bit concerned for them. Also concerned because there's 20 seconds left. We're in a 5v5. Execute is looking grim.
It looks like Virtus.Pro are going to have to all move in at once if they hope to bring Team Secret down. And there we go. Hive gets completely obliterated by Shockwave. This is Virtus.Pro's chance, but time is seriously running out. Just 4 seconds remain. Shockwave has to try with the plant, but Draven seems to just get absolutely everything. Team Secret ready for that one. There was very little Virtus.Pro could do in that situation.
I'm still trying to catch up with that. I feel like I spent the entire of that round talking about theories and operator bans, and I literally just looked at the clock and I saw 22 seconds. I'm like, wait, Gio, is this real?
How time flies.
What? When you have
time flies when you're analyzing operators.
Time flies when you're a nerd talking about operator bans. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's a great round for Secret, and it does make me question what's happening in the Virtus.Pro comms at the moment. You know, I don't speak Russian, but I feel like that stall out had to have a cause, right? And maybe it was because of Virtus.Pro. That's the round that they kind of had hoped to maybe punch back a little bit against Secret, and they just slowed down. We saw how methodical they started to play, how vigilant they were. With Pasha was droning out Attic really closely before he finished mavericking it open because he was worried for an aggressive Secret player. And previously Secret just swung out a trophy and got one kill. It was Hive previously on the Malusi. And this time Virtus.Pro was like, we don't want to deal with any of that shenanigans. Let's play really slow and methodical. Problem is, then you got 12 seconds left to execute in a 5v5. You're basically never going to win those on the attacking side.
One of the problems that I worry about is whether Virtus.Pro are being affected by their mentality. We saw this happen after they won the European Open Clash before EUL even started, and it took them a while to bounce back, but they don't have a while to bounce back from this. And how much has the last, the failures of the last couple of games really affected them, because they're going to have to get some more rounds on the board, and they could find that despite the fact that they took this site last time they came here, this is a different story. Secret have changed out what it is they're bringing. They no longer have the Malusi, so you won't have the opportunity for the double impacts. But one thing that they do have is the Wamai this time. They've placed the shield in the same place it was before in the kitchen door. It's likely Draven's going to be situated there again. They could be doing that to protect him. You're still going to have the Warden upstairs most likely, but with the magnets in play, it just adds the added protection that might be the nail in the coffin for Virtus.Pro.
Have they reinforced the dining wall at all this time? Because previously that was part of the way that fully soft by the looks of it on my screen. Okay, interesting choice. Previously, Virtus.Pro was allowed to use 3 of their Selmas on the showers wall because they knew they had... Oh, what was perfect, except for when Milosh team killed Pasha. Oh, it was almost perfect.
That's what happens when you both go for the same kill.
Oh, no.
Oh no, that's so disappointing as well, especially given that Pasha's on Maverick, and at this point in the round, you want to be using pretty much everything he has to offer, but I suppose at least the magnet issue's no longer there, and goodbye to the shield.
Still, it's a big shame here for VP. They're going to try and play this one without Pasha's nades, without Pasha himself, who's been an impact player this round. He was actually one of the 2 players, him and Rask, really saved the last attack onto this bomb site. 1:17 now on the clock, time's ticking away. Now they've got the main wall open, but Packball on the Warden still above. And this was the player to deny plant last time around. He's watching that default plant spot. Even if the smoke comes through for the execute, as has been common here for VP, he's going to be ready for it. Now, smoke just about to come out, and this is where it's really going to come down to Virtus.Pro. Are they going to get that plant down, or will Warden deny it?
Well, there we go. He's going to pop his gadget. Not only can he use this to his advantage, but he can also provide the information to the rest of his team. But WTG goes down in the process, and Virtus.Pro can't get the plant. Shockwave has to try again, but he takes a substantial amount of damage as Team Secret just keep laying it into them. And now they find themselves in a very difficult position with just 2, make that 1 player left. Shockwave has just a sliver of health, and there's 4 members of Team Secret just ready, standing by. Should he begin to move in, he gets shot straight through by the SMG-11, and Team Secret rather definitively take not just that round, but the entire first half.
Oh, there's so much to unpack there in that round. Firstly, a great job from Virtus.Pro to isolate Hythe, who was playing aggressively in the Showers corridor. He was taken out, but of course the team kill Milan onto Pasha, that was really punishing for Virtus.Pro, and I think more so not just losing the player, that's not as big a deal as losing the mentality and the momentum of that. I think surely that would have been a big tilter. Pasha is always a standout player. Now I can only guess what it would have been like in the comms, but surely not great, that's for sure. From that point, Virtus.Pro actually decided not to clear Showers, and contrary to what most people might think, I actually don't think that was a bad idea. Keep in mind that Secret had fully reinforced the wall from Showers into Dining. That means the Showers player actually can't really have an impact on that plant. But when it came down to planting, Virtus.Pro, a great early execute, 1 minute still on the clock when they started laying down those smokes, but that warden pick from Secret was really a problem for VP. Even if, I don't even know if Hythe could see, Packbull could see the player, but he just started tapping away in the position where he kind of knew he had to be, tapping away at the feet. Virtus.Pro got off the plant, and that's when just calamity was set into motion. Virtus.Pro had a numbers disadvantage, or they had a numbers equality, and Secret was able to push up. We had the Showers player get aggressive, and yeah, unfortunately, Virtus.Pro just didn't have much control there, and they couldn't just frag it out as well. I think there was an Evil Eye even still up at the late round on the bomb site, which just spotted them out. And that puts Virtus.Pro in a really dire position. Not only are they staring down a 1-5, and yes, this is defensive sided, they're now on the defense, but keep in mind the momentum is squarely against them right now. The mentality, the mental situation is completely against them right now. They need to springboard back off of this, take the fight to Secret, get their confidence back.
Prano is very close to Shockwave here. And it looks like Shockwave is not ready to back off. Oh, he was just. One thing that I'm really intrigued about your opinion on, however, is the fact that Virtus.Pro have opted to bring this Kaid, but because you have the Maverick on the side of Secret, the meeting hatch is still openable.
Yeah, that's a great point here. And it will come down to how Secret decide to go for the take. But the way we saw Secret attack this previously against BDS was to, Maverick was banned at the time, but they breached that hatch, and then they tried to flush out the player who's where Rask is right now in Boiler by using X-Kairos or Ace's Selmas on that main wall. This is why I think that the roam actually might be super impactful here. Packbull trying to open the hatch, and Milan, if he hears the breaching torch, he might go for the peek. He gets baited. Prano takes him down, but Pasha for 2 in Kitchen. That is nuts, and he might change the tide of this round.
Doing work for Virtus.Pro as Team Secret are left with no drones on the board anymore. So not only are they 2 men down, but they also have no information that they can gather throughout the rest of this round. That leaves them very blind, while Virtus.Pro can just situate themselves ready to gather what kills they need. Pasha isn't even back on site, and he's already had 3 kills. Now he's just watching out for anyone else. Oh, he just narrowly missed someone, but anyone else who may be nearby as he rotates back down to Freezer, making this position that they have on the site so much more strong.
Yeah, great decision there to just back down the site, especially because, as you mentioned, there are no drones left. Secret really don't have much info, and they won't necessarily know he's on site. They've got to basically face check everything. A flashbang used to enable that face check. Pasha can just keep teasing them. A spray. Shate and Hythe trying to bring this one back. 2 players who have really stepped up this game, both of them on their defense, having huge impacts, but, well, while they might have good guns on their side, it's going to be very difficult. Numbers disadvantage, positional disadvantage, and Virtus.Pro should be able to maintain their crossfires and lock this out.
You can see the Hive has actually gone back upstairs, so Shate's all on his own in Freezer. That means that if WTG gets this kill, but never mind, Pasha will get it instead. Diffuser's been dropped, and now Hive just has to try and hold the angle, but we're really desperate for time here. The Toxic Babe canister also came out, and he knows that there's going to be angles onto him from all sorts of directions, but he's going to kick things off with a kill onto Pasha. Can he secure the second one? He cannot. And Virtus.Pro take their first defending round.
Well, 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 Virtus.Pro, I said you needed to re-establish your confidence, and they did that. Or should I say Pasha did that. A 3K on the roam. It's the kind of thing where you look at that round, if you're Secret and you just lost to that, you look at that round and you're like, how did we lose that? One guy just ran around and killed us. All right, just don't let that happen. And it's kind of a tilt-up, right? You just kind of have to dismiss that. You know, you come into the round with a plan for your attack, and that plan gets just well and truly thrown out the window by one player who runs around and taps some heads. So credit to Pasha. It might be the kind of fire that Virtus.Pro needs to bring their confidence back into this, but it's still a long trek back. They're going to have to win dorms. They're going to have to even win dining, and they'll have to go flawless, in fact, on their defense if they're still to take the victory here. A draw is even a tall order from this point, but we'll see if they can just do it. Baby steps, one at a time.
Very much so. And I think that Secret are not going to underestimate the diligence that they will need to have going forward. We commented, of course, on the fact that they did lose a lot of drones very quickly. I didn't see how many drones were still on the first two players to go down before they got killed, but we know that those last three players didn't have any left. Part of me wonders if when they knew that Milan was on the roam, he was upstairs in Attic preparing to kill Maverick when he went to meeting, and thereby that's where you'd end up in your position where suddenly you can't open meeting. Part of me wonders if they thought, okay, we've dealt with that roam and we have no other way to find out if someone else is before it's too late. And that's how Pasha secured those 3 kills. So that's something that they will very much have to be aware of going forward into this round, because they can't let it happen again.
You pointed out Milan, the player that's new to Virtus.Pro this stage. You replaced the bottom-rated player, Emission, from Virtus.Pro. And we praised Milan time and time again, actually, being our standout player in Stage 2 thus far. Not necessarily the highest rated, but a very impactful player. He only got his first kill last round. He has 1 kill right now. He has the same number of team kills as he does frags onto the enemy team. He has really struggled this game. And we're talking about the player who's got the highest cost on anyone from Virtus.Pro so far in Stage 2. So I don't know what's happening, but Milan is really not having a good day so far. And if he can pick it up, if we start to see this frag count being a bit more even across Virtus.Pro rather than Pasha sitting at the top with 12 and 6, then maybe I think they might have a way back into this.
All right, Pasha's in lower attic. I couldn't see him for a second. I was thinking, is that what Milan's going to do? Because I wouldn't personally want the Warden to be playing down there when you want to be using him much later. But Pasha's holding on, and that definitely, he's been showing up 12 and 6 right now. So a far cry from where Milan is. Definitely someone who you want to be holding strong. Now, there's the first X-Kairos onto the game's wall. There's 1 impact still in the pocket for Shockwave.
And it's just the Hibana, no ace. Of course, Packball could rotate to help with the good old blowtorch. Open this wall somewhat. Hi, how many X-Kairos you got left, mate? Ooh, the nade's going to come in from Draven. That could be really good. Is he going for the player or for the Evil Eye? Gets caught, actually. Does a bit of damage to the player. Does not destroy the Evil Eye. That nade is effectively wasted. First frag comes through, but is traded.
Rask now off the board, as well as Shate. So both the 2 fraggers who you are looking for. And there's the next nade to go in.
Guess the Evil Eye, at least. Info gathering here for Secret. Draven comes through with the Yana. Sees out Pasha and Pig. That little front portion of Attic. And G36 in hand with the 2x. And it looks like Secret are just looking for at least another pick here before they execute. That gas comes out. Is that WTGs or is that a smoke? Actually, I don't think Secret have brought any smokes. The Warden basically nullified. 20 seconds left. They need to get a move on. Where is the execute?
Prano's looking to apply some pressure through the big window. He knows that there's 1 player in behind the beds. But as you say, there's not much time left. They have to go in for the execute, and Packball gets traded out straight away as the first thing, and then Shockwave, he makes it a second kill. He's going to try and desperately run away, but it's not enough. And now suddenly just Prano is remaining. Virtus.Pro don't take much to clean that one up. Secret not looking like the same team as they were on the defense.
Not at all. Secret really struggled there with initiating that execute, and I didn't manage to see whether WTG was completely out of X-Kairos. I'll go and actually, right now, check out the VOD, but of course we don't have the extended view up all the time, so can't always see. But yeah, Secret just didn't really have an execute primed there whatsoever. Despite having a numbers equality near the end, it was a 4v4 when the execute eventually came out. Secret just didn't really have an avid way to establish themselves on the bomb site. When the execute came about, Hive was all out of X-Kairos, and to my knowledge, he was never actually able to successfully breach that closet wall, at least not with an entry hole. And that's typically where we see people enter either plants in games room by sprinting through that entry and closet, or they'll plant in cover a smoke on the concrete pad just near the trophy door. But in this case, Secret, they didn't have any smokes. Packball, for the first time this game, gets rid of the Maverick for the ace, which is, I think, the right choice here for him. And, well, the main criticism here for me of Secret is their execute. It's just so lackluster, and the preparation for those executes seems pretty poor. So I want to see that fixed up a little bit more attention to the execute, and hopefully they can start to put the fire back up to Virtus.Pro.
You can already tell that Virtus.Pro are going for a different approach to this as they did, or sorry, rather as Secret did. Secret committed to playing Warden both times they came to this site, having positioned up here in Kids. He could play down through the hatch so that whenever these smokes from the ace to conceal the plant came in, he was ready. He could see what he needed to. But this time, Virtus.Pro have not decided to bring a Warden. They haven't brought a Wamai like Secret did. Instead, they've gone for Mirror.
Yeah, and Secret are actually doing a meeting take instead of a small tower take. Very, very rare these days that you'll see one of these. And there's no wall denial from Virtus.Pro, so that ace going to be utilized. Also something to note on the Virtus.Pro side, yes, they're starting this comeback, but Pasha's on 12 kills. The next highest frags on Virtus.Pro is 4. Shockwave at 4 kills. That is such a disparity. Like, Pasha has more kills than the rest of his team combined. And so if he dies early, I'm going to be really concerned here for Virtus.Pro. That said, the onus is on Secret here. They're going for this meeting take. It's a bit unorthodox, and what will help them with this is the fact that Virtus.Pro, all of their utility is basically facing the other direction.
Not just that, but you've got 2 players upstairs and a Nomad in play on the side of the attack, which will make it harder for those players to rotate back down or attempt any kind of a flank, especially now that Prano's on the rappel on Kids, where you have the mirror. That's Shockwave sandwiched up there. Shate also positioned to catch them out, so you can see exactly how they're trying to control the players on the defending side to prevent them getting any kind of control. And there's Hive opening things up with a kill onto Rust. That's that roamer of the Jaeger, who's once again been deleted. He was very quick to go down in the last round too, but Virtus.Pro clapped back. Team Secret are going to go in for the plant as they've been able to be quite quick. But Shockwave, he does get caught out by the air jab, but he can move in, and Milan's just going to continue with the kills. There's one back from Draven. Are they even going to be able to take this round? It's a 2 versus 2 with Pasha bleeding out, but the diffuser has gone down. Milan's on the side, and he's desperately trying to get onto the disable while the rest of his team cleans up what they can. But Shate was ready. He could bring down Milan, and now they just have one more opportunity to get the disable, but Shate is so ready to deny it. Draven kills Pasha. Can't even do it! Virtus.Pro take the round despite the fact that Team Secret was so well set up to deal with it.
And you can see the feet as well. WTG with the long arm through the meeting breach. Unbelievable. The plant went down. I think that was a 4 versus 4 or a 5 versus 4. And mayhem just ensued in the post plan. Virtus.Pro pulled out all the stops. 2 people flanking meeting. Even a rotation. I think that was a player. Was it Shockwave jumped out? The Kids' dorm's window and in through the kitchen hallway window to try and make a flank meeting. That was just ridiculous. But clearly Virtus.Pro had good info and really great composition in that post plant. Great showing from Milan as well, who wanted to go for that defuse. Eventually was taken down. Shate left with everything on his shoulders, playing for the vertical, and he could not kill that player, disabling through those holes. All he could see was the feet. And maybe those feet were hidden by that dead body as well. Oh, such a shame. And Virtus.Pro, they've actually done what Secret was unable to do. They won their tertiary bomb site on the first go. That's not something we saw Secret accomplish. And now they're in a position where they're only one round behind. This is suddenly winnable.
You said it would be very hard to get to the position where you are contesting for the win or even potentially a draw, but it looks like Virtus.Pro are well on the way there. Put in a very highly pressurizing situation in that last round. And when Milan got taken out, when he was on the disable, I thought that's it for Virtus.Pro, especially knowing that Sade was positioned upstairs, and they still pulled it through. Obviously, you can't rely on situations like that to always work out in your favor. And as you put it, it's incredibly unfortunate that Shate didn't have full sight onto the player who was disabling. But the point is, it still puts Virtus.Pro in a great position, both numerically from the position of being just one round behind, but also from a confidence perspective, knowing that now they've done a full cycle of successful defenses.
I'm telling you right now, we're going to see a tweet from that R6 Events Twitter. Unfortunate screenshots that happened before unfortunate R6
Proceed
events.
Unfortunate R6 events.
Yeah, we're going to see that. It's just going to be a picture of Shate staring at his foot when he can't shoot the diffuser.
Oh, no.
That's a shame. But hey, Secret, get back on the horse for this attack. Remember the last time Virtus.Pro won this, it was just on the back of Pasha getting a 4K on the roam. Not likely to happen, especially since he's already shut down downstairs, and Secret already starting. They've got that roam clear done and dusted, and they're starting to open up this hatch. In fact, once that hatch is open, these aggressive positions will basically be nullified. Milan and Pasha gets back, and, well, it's a good start now for Secret.
We're still seeing a problem akin to what we saw in the first round, and that is it got to 2 minutes on the clock, and 4 drones were already down for Team Secret. More than that now. But the point still stands is you're not very far through the round yet, just over halfway now, and you don't want to find yourself in another position where you have to clamp together because you don't have any extra eyes out on the board.
I like the idea of the adaptation bringing the Kaid from Shockwave because Secret brought the Ace last round instead of the Maverick, but they switched back onto the Maverick, so completely nullified, as are the Electric Claws. Shockwave will have to do some work with the Orb. Takes an aggressive position. Shate is ready for a push-up. The Secret, this is their mid-round now. This is an underrated and undervalued part of the round here for the attack. Hive is starting to drone up. He sees electrical. Remember, we've seen how impactful C4s can be into electrical. No blue push means there's still a player, a defender, allowed to roam there freely. This looks like it's shaping up to be a freezer and main stairs attack with maybe a little bit of a pinch from the rear stairs, but Secret, it's always a difficult one to pull off, especially with that shield that needs to be naded deep in the laundry rotate hole.
They're going to be going for it, and this is what Virtus.Pro tried on their first attack, as Draven cooks one of the nades ready to throw in and rid them of the shield problem that's there. But we have under 15 seconds remaining, and still every member of Virtus.Pro standing. At this point, they'll know where these attackers are coming from, and there's the diffuser down, a C4 to follow up, but so many kills have already come in by the time it happened. Pasha and Rust filling that kill feed, and Virtus.Pro effortlessly, it seems, managed to secure themselves yet another round. And now, James, it's a 5-5.
Finally, Virtus.Pro, they've done the impossible. They have clawed themselves back from a 5-1 deficit 4 rounds in a row. And, well, I said maybe this is looking to be a defensive-sided operator ban phase. Well, Gio, we've seen 9 defense round wins to 1 attack round wins. Secret yet to find their own, that notch in their belt. They're going to kids' dorms. They bring the ace once again. No wall denial on Virtus.Pro's part, so this is the right decision. And hopefully the pivotal thing I'm looking for this round, Secret need to breach an entry hole, not just a line of sight, an actual entry hole on the closet wall. And I think that with this ace, they can accomplish that.
What I also like about this is Ace was 6 picked, but so was the Warden. So Team Secret don't know that Virtus.Pro have brought with them the ability to see through into the smoke. They originally picked Pulse. So Team Secret are going to, at the very least, have to spend some time droning down below, expecting at least one person to be playing down there.
That's a great point. And if we don't see anyone downstairs from Virtus.Pro, which is quite likely, I think it's a bit of a bait, then that's all wasted time for Secret, effectively. Milan's downstairs shooting drones, so he actually might reveal his operator choice, which would be kind of unfortunate, because maybe he could bait... Okay, he's just taking out... I think he did manage to get a drone there. That's pretty good. Oh, no, he didn't. Secret still have all theirs up on the table. And, well, Virtus.Pro, I'm looking at you guys. Can you hold out for your 5th defense in a row? Get yourselves on match point. That would be so massive for the Russians here. But Secret, after such a strong stage... Both of these teams have lost 2 matches in a row now in EUL, and they're both looking for that redemption. It can only be the story for one of these teams, not both.
Team Secret do now know that Pasha is on a roam. We mentioned how it could be a bit of a bait with the Pulse, but he got caught out by one of the drones, and now he's just looking to catch out any of these players who might be moving over towards the main entrance.
Shate's all out of drones now. Pasha's still in this roam. Just solo, but when you've been popping off like he has, I don't really blame him for just going for a solo roam. It's totally fine. It's that X factor that Secret gonna have to deal with. He's lit up though, so tough in those gunfights.
I think also he's in a good position to maybe catch out Prano. Actually, it's Patbull who's over towards Big Window, but we've seen this happen a number of times. And there's the games room wall being opened as you were looking for, using 2 X Kairos, so they couldn't go for an impact onto both at once, but there is the impact trick on the last.
He let the first breach go open so that he could use his impacts to prevent it from becoming an entry hole. Of course, you could enter by proning, but no one's going to do that. You're going to die. So now it comes down to the ace. Can we see the Selmas go off? Pakbal actually finds the kill from Big Window. If he's traded, that could be everything, but no. Pasha doesn't land enough shots. Pakbal now has to rotate over to make that an entryable breach on the closet wall, but he's wasting a lot of time here. I don't know if he realizes how important this is. Hypha's all out of hard breach, and like I said, still Secret cannot enter through the closet. We need Pakbal over there to make this an entry hole.
Well, he's making his move over, but it also means that those players on the west side, as far as the defenders go, are significantly safer. Pasha very nearly lost his life in that situation as well. Now Pakbal just making his way up. This is his opportunity. There's the smokes out onto the white stairs. That'll prevent anyone from moving up, but it doesn't look like there's any attackers in the vicinity anyway.
Now Secret have done what I thought may have been improbable. They've opened up the closet wall, but Prano's in a difficult position. ADSs and magnets. There's no way he can destroy this shield. He'll have to just take a disadvantageous 1v1. Secret, they're making their collapse. Hype with 2 kills. Milan just trying to hold on to Attic, but he's shut down too. It's suddenly a 1v5 for Rask. And after a drought of rounds, Secret steal away the match points.
Wow, they clawed that one very much back into their own stride as things were truly beginning to look dire for Team Secret, who had failed to take the 4 preceding attacking rounds. And you said it there, James. They're now on match point. At the very least, they will draw this. And I want to bring it back to what this game means for both these teams. Right now, they're both fighting to stay not only in the major, but also for the EU finals as well. Both of these teams are sat very high up. I believe Team Secret right now are 2nd in the standings, whereas Virtus.Pro are joint 3rd with G2 and someone else.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Point is, because of where these 2 teams are in the standings right now, this is actually a very meaningful game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, these teams are neck and neck at the moment. Stage 2 standings. Virtus.Pro is actually only 2 points behind Secret. The difference between 2nd place and 5th place, which are the Secret 2nd, Virtus.Pro 5th, is 2 points on the standings. If Virtus.Pro, well, they can't win this anymore, but they can draw it, and that'll get them above both Empire and G2 and put them in 3rd place on the standings. That's for stage 2. Now, if we talk about the whole year so far, remember that Secret had a very poor stage 1 and Virtus.Pro quite the opposite. VP are currently sitting in 2nd place on the standings. Team Secret at 5th. That's out of those EU final spots. If Secret can secure the win here, that'll definitely give them a nice points bump. They'll actually not only jump over Vitality in 4th, but also over Virtus.Pro in 3rd place for the entire end of year standings.
So it's a big deal at this point that has come way too close for comfort for Team Secret, and now Virtus.Pro once again are finding themselves in that position as things were going so well and the momentum shifted so much in their favor. That was a really devastating loss for them in that last round, and they only have one more opportunity to take it back.
They've changed around some of their ops. They've got the Malusi still, but they've moved it on to Milan and put Shockwave back on that Maestro that we saw earlier. It all came down to that execute from Secret, the thing that I was really critical of them in the early rounds of their attack, but they just had it down pat that previous time. They found the opening kill as well, which certainly helped out. They were in a 5v4 when the execute came down. Shockwave is going to more actively impact trick this time. You can see, instead of just waiting for the first breaches to come out and then to impact trick the subsequent breaches, he's going to go for the initial one by throwing it through the floor onto the fan. Milan's also roaming downstairs, and I'm not sure if that was his C4, but one did indeed miss. There you go, in bedroom. So how will this attack progress for Secret? Will they be able to open the closet wall this time? Will they get the opening frag?
You've also got to worry about Pasha as well. So a lot of threats from a lot of different angles here for Team Secret, but they're going to start things off with the first two X-Kairos. And yeah, that's not what they wanted.
Well, the first impact completely missed. That's a struggle. It also takes down a lot of Shockwave's HP. The second one did manage to destroy almost all the X-Kairos. The only 4 that remain will just make a line of sight hole. Shate already breached all of that util. Managed to take down one of the shields. Still there's a shield though in Pig facing towards Attic that Prano is going to have to deal with. But Hive can take down Shockwave. The trade comes back 4v4 with 50 seconds left. I don't know which way this is going to fall, Gio. The final round of this match, and it could definitely still swing either way. VP are just stacking on the bomb site, playing for the retake, playing for the long angles, and that breach no doubt now enabled for Secret. It's going to be a hectic execute here when it eventually comes down, and it could definitely swing in either direction.
Yeah, you could hear the Selmas in play, and there on the games room wall, you can see the effects of that as both Draven and Packball sit looking through. Now, Rask has moved downstairs, so he could try and deny from below, but Virtus.Pro still find themselves in a difficult position, especially with Prano getting the kill onto WTG. Here are the smokes coming out, and that's definitely a hint that a plant is going to be attempted, but Rask getting a kill, Pasha adding on. This could be the end here for Team Secret. Virtus.Pro take themselves the round, they secure a draw. It's not what they wanted, but it still denies that win to their opponents.
What a round to close it for Virtus.Pro. 2 5-1 defensive halves between these teams leave us with a draw. Pasha playing out of his mind, 16-9 at the end of it, but it was a team effort for Virtus.Pro as well, and the rest of them certainly helped. Hive also had a massive game. What a fantastic, a banger of a match we've just witnessed. It was incredibly close. 6-6 at the end of it does leave each team with 1 point for the standings, much less than they would have liked, but I think Virtus.Pro have got to be happy that they managed to get back into it after being a match point against them and also after being 5-1 down on their attacking half.
Denying a big rival is incredibly important. It's not the win that they wanted, but it's still a favorable conclusion. One thing I have to point out, though, is the fact that we mentioned Milan didn't show up quite so much in that game, and then he was the final kill, the final couple of kills at the end, the grand conclusion, the big end. But you're right, it was a fantastic game. Milos, let's send it on over to you and see what our analysts have to say.
Thank you so much, Dev. Yes, impact kills